I've made no secret of it that he was my comedy hero, you know, so it sort of feels a bit surreal, really. I think the thing that sort of made me realise what a significant little venue this is I met his sisters just before the show, and I've never met his sisters, Rik's sisters, before, and that felt really special to sort of have that connection and to know how important this theatre was to him, because it's the first time he ever stood on a stage when he played the child in Waiting for Godot. So this theatre is the first time that Rik Mayall performed.
And you walk in and it's all of his memorabilia on the wall.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, and it's just sort of quite spooky to imagine little Rik Mayall coming in here and getting his first taste of being a massive attention seeker, which he surely was.
At the start of your set tonight, obviously there's only about 170 people here.
Yeah.
You mentioned a few memories of Rik, and especially when he played your dad in Man Down. Can you recite some of that?
I just couldn't believe he said yes. But well, for a start, Rik was, well, he's my hero. And secondly, he was only 10 years older than me, so the idea that he's playing my dad's ridiculous. We had to actually age him up. We had to make him look older than he was for the show. I remember going to see him, the first time I saw him, he'd come into the offices of my management to talk about whether he wanted to play the part. And I walked into a room and he was standing with his back to me. My heart was jumping out of my mouth, and he just really calmly turned round and smiled that infamous grin, and he went, comrade. He just looked me in the eye and he put his arm on me and he went, comrade. I mean, I'll never forget. It's just one of the greatest things ever happened to me.
Because they always say never meet your heroes. Did he live up to your expectations?
Oh my God! I mean, he was an absolute force of nature, you know. And Man Down was even though he wasn't old, it was late in his career because he'd done so much. I don't think any of us on set ever quite got used to the fact that he was on set, or that it was him, you know, because all of us, if you're my generation, sort of 10 years younger than Rik, we were all at school. At 15, we were running into school to talk about the last episode of The Young Ones. I actually went back to my school recently, and there's a set of stairs where me and my 5 nerdy mates used to meet every Monday morning so we could analyse The Young Ones. You know, that's how big an impact it had on me. So, and everyone on the crew was affected by that, you know, and he just swanned around like a lord, really, and was adored by everyone.
How much of an influence has Rik had on comedy?
I mean, I think it's defining. His work has defined decades of comedy. I think that him and his peers changed comedy totally. It moved it into an entirely different gear, a different arena. You know, I remember loving the fact that my parents didn't get it. I remember, you know, my dad was a really funny man, but he didn't get it. It was just a gear change into something else, into a sort of oblique way of looking at the world that sort of changed everything. And you know, still is casting its shadow now, you know. I'm repeating myself, but it changed the course of comedy, and he was a very big part of that, you know.
Knowing him like you do, what do you think he would have made to this whole festival?
I just mean Rik was an incredible attention seeker, and I think he would love that his name is all over this festival. I think he would have been stomping around these rooms, just being thrilled at every mention of him, and quite right too.
And then just finally, what's your favourite memory of him?
I absolutely loved it when we were bored on set one day, and I was, you know, we'd been filming for a few weeks by then. We were just standing, drinking a cup of tea, bored, waiting for cameras to do their thing. And Rik saw there was a photographer taking sneaky pictures of us. And he turned to me and he went, "There's a photographer over there. Let's pretend we like each other." And then he put his arm around me and he threw his head back as if he was laughing. And I did the same. And the picture looks like we're like great friends and we're laughing our heads off. But seconds before it, he said, "Let's pretend we like each other." And then he laughed at his own joke for ages.
Now, this festival's going to be annual. Do you think you'll come back and do it again?
Oh, 100% I'll come back and do it again.
See you next year.
It's funny, you know, I'm increasingly a grumpy middle-aged man, and I'm on tour at the moment, and I was knackered coming here, and I've just had such a wonderful night. I feel so energised by it, and I love the atmosphere in the room. I love the love, and I love that his memory is being kept alive, you know. I don't think when he passed there was enough said about him. I don't think there was enough celebrated him, and I think if this festival carries on and builds, as I've no doubt it will, then there's just this permanent reminder of him and his work, and I love that, and I love being part of it, and I'll definitely be back.
Why are you crazy?